Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to the final round of the TTL F1 Sprint Cup Series. And the final round takes us to the legendary Belgian Grand Prix at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. 7 kilometres of pure racing pleasure. 2 rounds, or 2 races I should say, we should have here with a champion yet to be decided. And of course, here on TTTV, I believe this is the final F1 2019 race, unless my lovely co-commentator can correct me, which I think he's trying to. But I have, of course, joined in the TTL F1 commentary box for the very last time for TTL F1 by the lovely, the fantastic Mr. James Head. How are you tonight, Mr. James?
Loving that introduction as per usual. Yeah, I'm doing really well, Kieran. How's yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. And I'm going to guess you're going to fact check me on the...
I am.
You are.
I shall fact check you. We've got the 5-lapper night tomorrow night, which should be the final event on F1 2019.
Well, there you go then. You know what, James? It's not the first time you're going to correct me, but it might be the last time you correct me on this game. It certainly, well, yeah, it certainly is my last outing on the F1 2019 game before we head over to a brand new game. It's coming on Tuesday, if you've pre-ordered the Schumacher edition, but for everybody else it's coming on Friday. So excited is an understatement. And, well, we've still got a race to decide. We've still got a Sprint Cup champion to decide, James, and it's close between the top 3.
It is close between the top 3. I mean, Kalsper's leading on 160 points, Josh in second on 131, and Recon in third on 109. It is basically been those 3 dominating, I think, this sprint series, the Sprint Cup. And Kalsper especially, it's been the Kalsper show, I think, to be honest, the last couple of weeks. Whether Josh can close that gap from 29 points down to virtually 0 remains to be seen. Will Kalsper have a bad night tonight in Belgium? Probably one of his favourite tracks, which I think he's won at this season in TTL F1 proper.
Well, we'll have to see how it all pans out. I mean, Belgium is not normally a track that drivers dislike. It's not normally a track that I dislike. It's a great track, and in the dry, with no threat of rain whatsoever, we should be in for a fantastic finale in this Sprint Cup Championship. And I have to say, the 2-race format that we've had here and the alternate point system has managed to keep this championship alive as we head into the final 2 races. The only problem is, James, that I'm at the head of the stream and I'm not that good at maths, and we've got 2 races here tonight, so it could be all up in the air. But what we do know is that the top 3 are currently within a championship hunt, so we'll be focusing on those 3 tonight. As well as that, there is no Constructors' Championship to decide, because all the drivers are driving for their own livery. They're driving in the multiplayer cars, so we only have 1 championship to focus on. We have 3 drivers to focus on, and it should, on paper and in theory, be okay on the maths side, but I'll keep you posted on that one.
Yeah, I will do the maths in the background if needs be. There you go.
You're a lifesaver, James. Thank you very much. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with the series setup and the schedule for tonight, we have a 1-shot qualifying session, then into the first 25% race. The points are tallied up there, where it's first down to 20th. Almost every one of them scores a point. 20th doesn't score any points, but every single other position does. When we get to the end of that race, we'll then go into another 1-shot qualifying to decide the grid for the second race tonight. Another 25% race here at Spa-Francorchamps, and by then we will know who our champion is for the TTL F1 Sprint Cup Series. I'm looking forward to it, James.
I'm really looking forward to it as well. It should be a fantastic night of action. Hopefully Kalsper, Josh and Recon all make it. I can see Josh and Recon certainly, and Kalsper actually. He's down on the bottom there. All 3 have made it into the season, or into the season finale, I should say. But we have to have a look as well at the rest of the drivers' standings. Laser in 4th on 95 points, Scuba in 5th on 71 points, bit of a jump down. But then you've got Kaginio in 6th on 66, Sean in 7th on 56, Mashiro in 8th on 46, Faithful in 9th on 41, and Chubbs in 10th on 37. Between Scuba and Chubbs, it is a 44 points difference between them. So it really, between 5th and 10th, everything to play for, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've said, we are going to focus on that top 3 because my extended maths from that point onwards is questionable, especially when it's split over 2 nights. If you're unfamiliar so far with the point scoring system, it is an alternate point scoring system with 30 points being awarded to the race winner, second place getting 25, third place getting 20, 4th place scoring 18 points, 5th place scoring 15, and then every position down from that is 1 fewer point to earn until we get down to 19th place, which is 1 point, and 20th place scores nil points, with a fastest lap bonus point also on offer for the person that finishes in the top 10, or having the fastest lap of the race and finishing in the top 10. You can't just have the fastest lap and trundle around in 19th place. It's not going to happen. But this alternate point scoring system has left us with a championship to decide, 3 drivers still in it. Obviously, we'll go through those standings in just a second and have a chat about really who's got the best chance of winning it. If we have a look at the standings right now, they won't be on your screen, but we'll just read them out for you. Kalsper on 160, Josh M in second on 131, and then Recon is on 109. As you said there, James, 51 points behind is Recon from Kalsper, so he's really got to push the boundaries if he's going to stay in this championship for at least the second race here tonight.
Yeah, Recon is strong around this track, though. That's what we shouldn't forget. He is strong. Whether he's as strong as Josh, whether he's as strong as Kalsper remains to be seen. But he could be still within a chance going into the final race. He has to hope, though. Kalsper and Josh both have an absolute wretched first race for Recon to stand any sort of chance, I think, to even get second. Never mind try and get the title win. But Kalsper and Josh might be the main two to watch. Kalsper obviously looking to add Spring Cup title to his main title, as well as TTL F1 League 1 title from this season. Josh, really the newcomer on the scene. Can the new blood break down the barrier and get Kalsper right at the death? We'll have to find out.
Yes, absolutely. Don't forget as well, if my maths is not going to fail me, Josh is 29 points behind Kalsper. And with this alternate point scoring system, 30 points for a race win. So basically, Josh just has to make sure that he either scores ahead of Kalsper or doesn't finish too far behind him. Even then, though, it'll be decided on countback. And if there's a draw at the end of this, we've also got to work out on countback who are the winners. So that's going to be pretty interesting, to say the least. But we'll have a look back through and work that out if that happens here tonight. It's very rare that it's going to happen. But on the one night, we will say, oh, it's so rare, it's not going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it? But the thing is, with lots of these positions from 5th place downwards being separated by a single point, that could be crucial if any of those 3 have a bad race. They've got to remember that they're still in this championship fight until each checkered flag falls and we get the official, unofficial results at the end of the race. We've got 10 drivers so far in this lobby. Hopefully we might get a couple more, but at this moment in time, I think 10, half a full grid isn't too bad, especially for this being one of the last races here on F1 2019. And from the sounds of it, from people boasting on the beta, from the footage being released, it looks like it's going to be certainly a visual upgrade on the cars. And hopefully, fingers crossed, a much more streamlined experience for the commentary box. I hope, anyway.
I hope as well, because I think I've heard they're going to be adding real-life Amazon Web Services data into the spectator cameras. So that's hopefully going to be appearing up. So you might see like the innovations like the Halo, for example. You might see that.
Well, hopefully we will, to give it that extra...
released tomorrow.
Ooh, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see.
The only thing we haven't heard about something or anything like that. Weird.
Yeah, very strange, isn't it? I'm sure something... I'm sure something will come from it. Maybe tomorrow, who knows, James? There has been a video released today showing all the features, but once we get into F1 2019, of course, don't forget TTML will be starting very soon into the new month. We've got the evaluation races to talk about, as well as the season starting, basically, here in TTML. And make sure you go and follow the new league on Twitter at TTML_F1. That's Tango Mike Lima _Foxtrot1. Go and follow that Twitter handle there. That's going to be the new stream, and myself and James will be covering Tuesday night's Division number 1 at 8 p.m. BST with 2 new tracks on the calendar. It's going to be Vietnam and the Netherlands both on the calendar for a brand new season, so I can't wait for that. Rounds 2 and 3, so they're coming at us thick and fast.
I can't wait for that, and I can't wait to butcher it in my first commentary either.
Well, especially Vietnam. We have no idea what Vietnam's going to be like when we turn up there, but we've got a vague idea about what's going to happen with the Netherlands. It's already a pre-built circuit, so we kind of know the banking through the final quarter is going to be raising some hairs there, especially with the tyres. Hopefully they'll be able to hold on. But with Vietnam, it looks like it's going to be quite an overtake fest with the DRS. But yeah, as we say, we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
We will have to cross that bridge, and I think with Vietnam as well, it draws comparisons, I think, to India's long back straight back in the day, and that's where I think we're going to see the overtake fest, because there's obviously going to be DRS on. I think we're just about to begin, though, because Sean is the only one to ready up.
Absolutely. Kalsper in the chat there. Welcome along. He says, no ABS tonight, preparing for the next game. Well, I mean, last race in the Sprint Cup, that's an interesting time to try it, but we'll let him carry on with it. Meanwhile, then, we are going to be on board with that driver then. Kalsper making his way now down towards La Source, in towards that hairpin. And obviously, you've got to be careful of the wheel spin on the exit of that corner. Very easy to get it wrong if you're not careful. It's downhill all the way now towards Eau Rouge and then up the hill through Radion. Going through here, it's full throttle in qualifying, but be careful on the very first lap of this race. Cold tyres will be a huge concern if you're not careful. It's very easy to spin up the rear tyres on the first lap of this race. Now heading down towards Les Combes. You've got plenty of time to think about it as we make our way now through here. Attacking the curbs is Kalsper here as he makes his way through. Got to be careful on that third part of Les Combes. You can attack it, but at your own peril. Now heading down towards Brussels there. A little bit of a lock up there from Kalsper as he makes his way through that long right hander. You've got to be very patient on the throttle. Now through X corner. Nice and tidy through there. Using that curve on the exit. Lovely line through there. As we now head through the double left-hander of Pouon then. Dropping down a gear to 6th. Then quickly back up it to 7th. Watch that curve on the inside there. It'll be very risky and the car can be very upset if you take that line. Now heading in towards the campus section now, in towards the chicane here. Now heading towards the right-hander with, I think, no name as we head towards Stavolo. And now in towards the long right-hander here. Tyre wear can be an issue and that wall on the left-hand side is much closer than you think, especially on those race-worn tyres. Now making our way on towards Blanchimont. It's not this corner yet, it's the next flying left-hander. Full throttle through here. Be careful not to scrub off too much speed there on those curbs. And now making our way towards the bus stop chicane, braking at the 100-metre board. And it's one of the slowest corners on the track. This one here, the second part of that bus stop chicane. Watch the wheel spin on the exit. Straight wheel it if you can. Recon is on pole position at 42.7 from the Dutchman. And Kalsper finds himself down the order there in 4th place. But that's a flying lap here of Belgium. And of course, we get 11 of those coming up in the race.
Not a bad ABS run from Kalsper either. He's only 3/10 off Josh, so that's not too bad. I mean, the top three are separated by 2/10.
Yeah, absolutely. So Recon on pole position then with Laser in 2nd place. Josh in 3rd with Kalsper 4th. Coutinho is in 5th place with Mashiro in 6th. Sean in 7th on the medium tyres with Mays in 8th with Vapourian and Chubbs. They're disqualifying their lap times, probably invalidating their lap at some point around the circuit. And Chubbs was very early on. I think he invalidated his probably at Les Combes there because he retired very early on. Not sure where Vapourian invalidated his lap time, but we'll have to wait and see how they can get on. They will, in theory, be able to have a free tyre choice because they didn't complete their lap. Not sure about that one though, but I'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. We won't know anyway what tyres they were on, but anyway, the point is we're heading now towards the Belgian Grand Prix for race 1 here of round number 4. Obviously, clear skies all around. That's the championship standard. No rain expected. No rain. We don't want it, basically, to add to the drama. They're already quick, sharp races as we head towards the countdown. Mashiro in the chat there. Good to have you along. He says, he says, I'm just awake. Might fall asleep and race. Not an ideal strategy for Mashiro there, but, you know, there you go. Sway in the chat there with some support from Mays there. So let's see, he's starting down in 8th place. I mean, Mays is one of those drivers who I've raced with before. He does have the pace. Let's see if he's got some pace to bring here at the Belgian Grand Prix. We've also got that championship battle to decide between Kalsper, Josh, and Recon here. It's an important race for Recon. He is the one under the most pressure, and he has got to basically win this race to stay in the championship hunt going into the final race here tonight. But we're in race 1, the longest formation lap on the calendar, and then we'll follow 11 laps of, I'm sure, pure, fast and hard racing. Now, we've seen so many times going through Eau Rouge and then over the hill through Blanchimont, I've seen so many cars lose the rear end there because drivers forget that those tyres cool down once you're lining up on the grid, and it's so easy to lose the back end, especially on that first lap. Is it going to catch anybody out, James?
It might do, and I think it's actually Radion and not Blanchimont that you mentioned there.
Oh, that is it. That's right. Yeah,
I was going to say Blanchimont's on the other side of the track.
Well, you know, cold tyres through Blanchimont as well. You never know. Hopefully they'll have warmed up by then. But yes, going through Radion is what I meant with cold tyres going through there. Yeah, it's not a nice experience at all. But we've seen it before. I mean, I remember all the way a couple of seasons ago, we're in the commentary box with Andy when some drivers spun out at the top of the hill there and basically half the field had retired. So that's not what we want to see tonight. We've got 10 drivers. Hopefully 10 of them will be able to finish this race. There's no safety car activated because they are short sprint races. So if you're out, that's pretty much it. You're out of the race. But we've got Laser here leading them all the way around. Just to give you a reminder of the championship standings, Kalsper leads the way, 160 points ahead of Josh M on 131, and then it is Recon 109. To put that into perspective then, Josh is 29 points behind Kalsper, Recon 51 points behind. So like I said, it's going to be an important race for Recon. He needs to score the race win. It's as simple as that.
Recon will have to rely on, I think, Laser from the start as well. If Laser gets a good start and Josh bogs down slightly, Recon will have a severe advantage, I think, going forward into this race. Remember, these guys don't have to bet. I don't know who this is. This madman going around the outside through Blanchimont in the Academy car. Who on earth was that? Was that Sean Mays? I don't know. Madman, whoever it was.
Well, it was Mays. You were right the first time. He's eager to get things going then as we make our way through. Oh, no, it wasn't Mays because he's all the way back here. No, I'm not sure who that was. Oh, it was Mashiro, so he's eager to get started. I knew we'd find it eventually. 3 Academy liveried cars is not a good sign. However, well, at least for me, I won't be able to pick out who's who. But that's not important right now. We've got Recon on pole position here, starting on the right-hand side. Not on the racing line, but he'll have the inside line in towards La Source, and you really want to hit that apex. We are moments away then from race 1 here of the 4th round of the TTL F1 Sprint Cup Series. It is 5 red lights. We are underway. What are the starts like? It's a decent start from Recon. It's a great start from Laser here. He's got the outside line, but look at Josh trying to go through the middle, 3 wide in towards La Source. Somehow they all made it through now as they now decline down to the hills and down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. You can see all 10 of them in formation heading up the hill now. Josh in the lead ahead of Recon and Laser. Will anybody be able to spin it out? No, it doesn't look like it. Everybody's made it clean through so far. Josh defends aggressively to the inside, then switches back to the racing line. Recon's got the inside line. Watch out for Coutinho as well as he looks to try and have a move and try and manufacture one up the inside. No such move existed. Josh holds on to the lead of this race. Laser going round the outside, having to attack and defend at the same time here as he makes his way now round the outside at Brussels. You can see Coutinho's got the inside line, but he'll have the outside line for X corner, which is not where you want to be. Both drivers leaving each other plenty of space there. Coutinho almost into the wall, but that's going to hand Kalsper a good run down towards Pouon then as he slots in towards 4th place. Wise to stay behind Laser there because that could have ended in disaster, but Kalsper kept his head down and has gained a position here. Laser now in 3rd, Recon in 2nd, but Josh leads the way then. That was a crucial start from the driver in the black and white car then. We've got Vaporeon who's trying to move up the order. He started all the way down in 9th place. He's now up to 7th, passing Mays and Sean there. Chubbs has basically followed them all the way through. Sean is off there. Yellow flags were waved into the into campus section, but he has recovered and he's lost a huge chunk of front wing. So the thing is though, with 10th place, that's a lot of points you can still score, so he's not out of this one just yet. Meanwhile, Laser and Kalsper keeping each other good company through there. Coutinho not too far behind, but at the end of the first lap here, it is Josh who leads the way from Recon, Laser, Kalsper, Coutinho, Mashiro, Vaporeon, Chubbs, Mays and Sean rounding out the top 10.
Oh, Chubbs down the inside of Vaporeon. This is for 7th. Good move, actually, by Chubbs. Vaporeon actually gave up on that one. Let Chubbs have that, and he's up to 7th. So Chubbs up to 7th. Kalsper, by the way, cut across through Les Combes. Sean had a spin through the campus section. He lost the back end through there on the set of medium compound tyres. He should come back into the pits and hopefully go on to a set of hard compound tyres, because obviously the softs I don't think are going to last to the end. Vaporeon though, right alongside Chubbs, down into Lacombe. Oh, Chubbs turns into him. Vaporeon having to cut across the chicane completely, and Chubbs has lost position, possibly to Maze. He hasn't, but both of them come into contact there.
Yeah, a little bit of contact on the entry in towards Lacombe, and Chubbs will be saying he has to give that position back. Well, we'll have to see what happens as this race progresses then. Only on to lap 2, and Vaporeon now has a 3-second time penalty. Interesting though, Vaporeon didn't get any penalty for basically straight lining Lacombe there, so obviously the in-game steward's feeling that was okay considering the situation that befell of him. So we'll have to see how that goes during this race though. Of course, we've got the out-game stewards, if you like, the real-life stewards that will surely have a look at that one if it is submitted to them. Josh though leading the way ahead of Recon, but they're both where they wanted to be. Kalsper in 4th place right now as he looks to try and chase down Laser, heading into the, well, we're almost a quarter of the way through the race already, James.
Yeah, unbelievable. I've got to be honest, I've commented on that first lap move with Josh. He managed to actually get the Island Needle pretty much part of the Red Sea on Recon and Laser down towards Turn 1. Got the move done through the source. Absolutely unbelievable. He had balls of steel to pull off that move. Honestly, it was fantastic to see. Vaporeon, I think, has spun around just on the exit of bus stop, and in fact, he's out of contact, I think, with Maze, because Maze is round through there as well. So Vaporeon and Maze, I think, might have came into a little bit of contact there. But Josh leads, but Recon right on the back of him, 5/10 away. He needs to get past him to stand any chance of winning this.
Here comes Kalsper though. He's got the DRS and moves to the left-hand side. We've got a battle for the lead developing as well as Kalsper makes that move stick. Recon trying to go up the inside of Josh then in towards Lacombe. He's on the outside here for the second part. He might have the inside line here. Are they going to give each other the space? Oh, Recon makes contact with the back of Josh there. Keeps in control of that car. Stays in 2nd place for now. Kalsper, meanwhile, moves ahead of Laser up to 3rd place, and that's going to be important for him. He'll want to make sure that the drivers ahead don't score as many points as he wants them to, and now he can try and start closing in. He's got Laser behind him now, who's also under pressure from Coutinho as they all now make their way through Pouon.
Yeah, Kalsper got the move done down through the Kemmel straight, even before Dutch corner on the left-hand side. He got the move done succinctly there, up to 30 goals. Laser is impressing, I've got to be honest, in 4th. He's just overheating the front tyres slightly. Coutinho was on the back of him, 7/10 away. But Josh out in front is just beginning to pull out that little bit of a gap. Recon tried to go down the inside through the comp. He didn't, and you can see Josh actually, not sure if that was a little bit of a mistake there, but he tried to break the toe of Recon, 5/10 away. Recon has got great straight line speed. He needs to turn that into an overtake.
He does indeed, as they now make their way on towards the bus stop chicane. Once again, Josh still leading ahead of Recon. Kalsper is just over a second behind, but Josh comes into the pits. He comes in for an early stop here. Now, we've seen in the past, James, especially at round number 2, how important an early stop can be. An early stop here is going to be even more important because you've got 7 kilometres. You've got minute 40. Even more than that on a set of used tyres. It's such a long lap here at Spa, and if you make the undercut, it's going to be most effective here.
It will be most effective, and I think Josh, honestly, could gain 2 seconds in this lap on Recon and Kalsper alone. So he's got to try and put the hammer down. He's just coming down the exit of the pit lane now, but he's out the pits on a set of mediums. And to be honest, I was expecting that pit stop, to be honest. Lap 4 for a set of mediums. They will last very, very nicely to the end of the race. And hopefully he doesn't get outdone by a dodgy 3-second time penalty on cold tyres. Josh has really got to focus now. He's essentially got to pull in 2 qualifying laps if these guys don't pit.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be tough as well. But Josh rejoins in 8th place. The most important thing is as well that he's got clean air. That's going to be so crucial as well as he looks to try and get the hammer down, and I wonder if his engineer has told him it's hammer time yet. In any case, he'll be out there on a set of medium tyres that should get him to the end of the race here in this 25% race, the first of 2 here tonight. So make sure once this first race is over, don't go anywhere because we'll be pretty much straight into the next qualifying session. Vaporeon getting another 3-second time penalty. That's up to 6 now, I believe, in this race so far as they now file their way through Stavalo then and onwards towards Blanchimont. It is Recon who leads though. Kalsper second, Laser third, with Coutinho in fourth, Mashiro fifth, with Chumps in sixth, Viporian in seventh, Josh, who's made a stop, in eighth. Alongside him is Maze in ninth, who's also made a stop, and Sean pitting very early on, having to go onto the hard tyres to get to the end of the race, is currently in 10th place, but only 7/10 behind Maze, and there's a whole field of cars coming into the pits. Recon leads them in. Coutinho is the only one that stays out, but Recon here, the Dutchman, comes into the pits.
Chubbs crashing into the pit wall. Chubbs crashing into the pit wall on on the entrance into the pit lane. Sorry to cut in there, but Chubbs crashing into the pit wall, it seems. It looks like he might have reset the track, I'm not sure. But, very interesting one. But yeah, top three are in, all on a set of mediums, and Josh is ahead of Recon. Just about.
Yeah, just about. But the thing is, Josh, on the exit of turn one there, has a great run going down towards Eau Rouge and then up Radion here. But there you can see Recon will have the slipstream and the DRS as well. Don't forget, heading down towards Les Combes, and he pulls to the right-hand side and simply breezes past him like he's not even there. Recon then takes over as the net leader of this race then. A relatively easy move for Recon there, but always going in towards Les Combes there. He had, as long as he had the slipstream and stayed within DRS range, he would have had that move definitely on, as he has a big lock-up going in towards Brussels there.
To be honest, I think Recon had the move done, even coming up through Radion. He was so much quicker than Josh, and it's really getting them the time, and it's 7/10 the gap. And I mean, Recon just looks like he's entered the race on the first lap, because he's absolutely flying there out on track. Josh obviously in a net P2 currently. We've got Coutinho, Mashiro and Vapon obviously top three now, but they're still to come into the pits. Chubbs, by the way, did have a front wing change, I do believe, when he came into the pit lane as well, so that's why he's lost more time than necessary. But Laser behind Kalsper, only 8/10 away as well. Could be quite interesting to see the newest member of the TTG main team against our champion of TTL F1 League 1. Could be quite interesting, this one.
Coutinho into the pits then. Mashiro stays out for another lap here, so obviously confident on those soft tyres. We'll have to see what Viporian does then. I assume, no, he stays out as well, so lots of drivers, or two drivers I should say, considering staying out and maybe leaving that medium tyre run to the very end then. Recon currently in third place and has Viporian in his sights then, heading in towards La Source, and you can see here he's already closing that gap by such a lot. And is he within DRS range heading down the hill? I don't know actually. We'll have to see as he makes his way towards the activation point, but you can see here how quick Recon is. Oh, Viporian got a snap there, and Recon is in the slipstream. He's got the DRS, and this should be quite an easy move for Recon here on Viporian there, and he gets that move done. Up to second place he goes then, and Viporian, to be fair to him, didn't make that too much of a scrap. He was struggling so much for grip heading over the hill through Radion there.
Not only the difference between the mediums and the softs that you've just seen, but the difference between using your ERS effectively and not using your ERS at all, because Recon has used, on both occasions, both overtakes, he has used ERS up. He's now at 21% ERS and was about 30 at the start of the lap, so he's got to really try and harvest that ERS energy for it to be good. But he's got Vaporon now in the way of Josh. This is what he would be hoping for, to be honest, in his title fight. And Kalsper staying very consistent as Josh nearly goes for the move actually on Vaporon there. He is closing up. Will Vaporon let him through? I don't think he's going to play it too nicely, to be honest, and he's got front wing damage. Right side end plate has gone off on Josh into the back end.
Yeah, he ran into the back of Viporian there. It just simply ran into the back of him. And Josh here has got front wing damage, and obviously in second place in the championship, 29 points behind Kalsper. He could not afford a situation like that where Kalsper is now breathing down his neck. Surely here Josh, he pulls to the right hand side and lets Kalsper through. I think Josh here might come into the pits. No, he doesn't. He lets Kalsper through. Is he trying to think about the DRS zone heading down towards Les Combes? He's already seen how powerful that is, but he'll have much less downforce than Kalsper ahead of him going through Eau Rouge and Radion. This is going to be an interesting one. Will this call work?
I think I've got to be honest, I think this is more for the championship game, to be honest. I think Josh now, with that front wing damage, has essentially let Kalsper through to try and get Recon. 3 seconds the gap, it can be done, but it's going to be quite hard in these next 5 laps, and I don't think there's going to be any overtakes here. You can see Josh closing up, but he's simply not close enough. It was a pure let through down towards bus stop, so Kalsper through the third, Josh into fourth, but it will now bring Laser and possibly even Coginio into play. And we've got Vaporon just ahead of Chubbs, and in fact Chubbs is on the back of Vaporon. I mean, I can think you can see where this one is going, to be honest. Chubbs has just sailed on by Vaporon once again, and Chubbs is through and he's up into 7th position. Oh, and actually Vaporon goes into the back of him and spins round. Vaporon into the back, and Chubbs through to 7th, and Josh down to 5th, and he's actually down to 6th and left through Laser and Coginio as well.
And Josh has fallen down the order. He's let 2 more cars go through. Laser and Coginio now are through, and Josh down to 6th place. Well, at the moment then, he's looking to try and score some points, but at this moment, he's falling down the order. Not going to be too good whatsoever. Just having a look at those points, obviously 30 points for the race winner, and Josh is in 6th place at the moment, so that's 14 points. So it could be making the best out of a bad situation. Meanwhile, Coginio is on the back of Laser here, trying to find the way round the outside there. Very, very dicey there. Not sure what was going on between the two of them, but Coginio had to go onto the grass and very wisely backed out of the throttle there. Otherwise, that would have been goodbye back end. In towards the bus stop chicane they go. And Coginio, that's a warning sign. He's got to be careful trying to make a move on Laser, because Laser will defend it.
To be honest, I think Coginio was looking to the outside. He had the pace to go around the outside of Blanchimont. He just simply, I think, misjudged it completely. I think he was trying to pull out to go around the outside. He went into the back of him instead. No front wing damage, luckily. And then Laser just bit back and said, "You're not coming through, mate." Recon on the back of Mashiro, though, for the lead of the race. Oh, Mashiro just let him through. Recon through to lead the race. The easiest overtake you'll ever see.
I think so. That's definitely what you could class that one. Recon now leading with Mashiro in 2nd, who's yet to stop in this race, don't forget. Kalsper in 3rd, but Laser 4th, Coginio in 5th, with Josh in 6th. Chubbs is in 7th, Mays 8th, Sean in 9th, and Vaporeon into the pits then. After that one, obviously he spun out and lost a chunk of his front wing.
Sean having a right moment through Radion. He was just on the back of Mays, 2 tenths away coming up towards Radion, and he just purely lost the back end going through the corner. So now Mays has got a little bit more of a buffer. Sorry to cut in there.
No, not a problem. If something's happening that's more interesting than what I'm talking about, then I'm absolutely fine with it. Coginio here closing in on Laser. Just less than 4 tenths of a second between the two cars as they now make their way through that campus section in towards Stavilo now. And Laser here is going to try and defend this one. Surely Coginio might have learned his lesson by going around the outside here, but you know what they say about drivers here? They love to take those risky moves, and you can see he's closing and closing as we head through that long left-hander. Then we've got Blanchimont coming up. Does Coginio back out the throttle this time? He does, yes. But there's a little bit of contact now heading up towards the bus stop chicane. Will Coginio try and move? No, he won't. He got onto the grass on entry into that braking zone. Very, very lucky not to lose that braking power that he has in those tyres. Recon setting the fastest lap of this race then. 3 laps to go. Coginio looking for a move up the inside, but then decides to back out of it, I think quite wisely, because he's got a whole DRS straight to come.
Yeah, he's going to wait for the Camel straight for sure, but he was actually looking to try and go around the outside once again through Blanchimont, down to ZRS still to 0, so he's been harvesting the ZRS for a whole lap and a bit now, and now it's going to be put to good use because Laser pulls to one side, Coginio on the outside line. I mean, Coginio's going to go through, and the German is through in the 4th position. He is going to be one of the quicker drivers next season in TTML, and he's certainly made it worthwhile so far here tonight. He's up to 4th with a very easy move on Laser.
Yeah, you just saw on the steering wheel there how much ERS that Coginio had. It's almost 3/4 as he was going down the Kemmel Straight. He knew exactly what he wanted to do and uses ERS to perfection there. Obviously, there's an ERS revision going into the next game. It'll be a much more simplistic system where you push a button to overtake and then you've got to press that button to make sure that you stop using as much ERS as you want to. But yeah, it's a much more revised system. Only basically 3 modes you could use now, and one of them can be accessed by the push of a button, so should be a lot easier for the drivers to make some overtakes. Sean has got a move done on Maysden. He now moves up to 8th place, but the two of them I know will have a great old scrap to the end of this race.
Yeah, Sean did that around the outside of Lacombe actually on Mays, so fantastic move there on a set of hard compounded tyres, which you would think would be wearing off by now, but they're going to be actually slightly quicker towards the end of this race compared to the mediums that Mays is on. So Sean beginning maybe to come into play. If Chubbs makes a mistake ahead, it could all bring Mays and Sean back into play for possibly 7th position. Kalsberg, by the way, is on the back of Mashiro. Does Mashiro know that he's got a pit? I don't think he does.
Well, in that case, he's probably waiting until the very last lap. Meanwhile, at this moment in time, if all these finishing positions are as they are, Carlsberg will be crowned the champion at the end of this race. But let's see what he does then through through Eau Rouge and Radion, and this time Mashiro takes to the outside there to get well out of the way, but he's lost so much momentum. He's got hardly any ERS to recover that lost momentum, and Carlsberg simply breezes through and takes that position away. He's now up to second place. 25 points he'll be scoring at the end of this race. Recon leading the way on 30, so that's 5 points. That's going to be a deficit of 46 points heading into the next race, which means then you can see Josh down in 6th place. That's going to be 14 points. So he only needs to score 2 fewer points than Carlsberg and he'll be out of the championship hunt. So as it stands, with 2 laps to go, 1 and a bit if you're picky, it is going to be Carlsberg who wins the Sprint Cup Championship.
And I think it comes to show as we see him move on. Sean May is getting past Sean down the Kemmel Straight to get the move done once again. So these two are having a right ding-dong. But yeah, Carlsberg looks like he's going to complete the double. He's going to win the main title and the sprint title as well. Does Mashiro, though, understand a pit stop here at Belgium? I think he might be under the impression, because obviously we had the Classic Series on Tuesday and he competed in that. There was no pit stops then. Does he think it's the same for the multiplayer cars? I think he realises, and I think he's getting out of the way of everyone now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, obviously in the classic cars, there are much more durable tyres there, and Mashiro dives well out of the way. In fact, he's pulling to one side and doing a donut or two. Well, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think he has realised, but as long as he makes it to the pit stop and puts on a fresh set of tyres, he will still be counted towards the end of the race, I do believe. Either that or Laser getting into the back of Coutinho there. Meanwhile, Chubbs and Mashiro... Chubbs moves past Mashiro there. Meanwhile, Coutinho and Laser wanting to reignite this battle then.
Yeah, Laser's looking all over the back of here of Coutinho, and he's going to reach in excess of possibly up to 210 mile an hour. Are we going to see Laser get the move done on Coutinho? It's going to be very hard to do, so he's going to have to go all the way around the outside of Lacombe. Laser around the outside. Coutinho's there on the inside line. Can Laser get the move done? He just about does. Fantastic stuff by Laser. The newest man into the TTG main team has made one stick on the German. Laser Sony's up the third. Brilliant move. Yeah,
there you go. Mashiro has been shown the black flag for failing to use the required tyre compounds. I'm surprised he managed to get the soft tyres all the way through, but there you go. He has now been disqualified from the session. And of course, if you race in the Classic Series, they're much more durable tyres. You can do the no-stop there. You are allowed to. But in these cars, you have to make sure you use at least 2 different types of tyre compounds. And it's so easy to do for Mashiro when you're racing in different series and different championships. Very, very easy to do. Meanwhile, Recon there is into the final sector then of this race as he makes his way now on towards Blanchimont and then going in towards that bus stop chicane. He's done all he possibly can to try and stay in this championship hunt as he makes his way now towards that chicane for the final time this race. Remember, we do have one more race after this one. Recon rounding the final corner and onwards towards the checkered flag. He takes the win here, but Carlsberg crosses the line to win the Sprint Cup Championship. It's all carnage going in towards the bus stop chicane. Laser and Coutinho cross the line there with Josh in 5th place, Chubbs in 6th. Josh actually moves up to 4th place there. Even with those penalties, it's not going to be enough to hold on into the championship as Chubbs makes his way towards the line. And James, you made a sound there. What on earth happened?
Coutinho trying to go down the inside of bus stop, completely outbroke himself, and Laser got walloped in the back end. Simple as that. Coutinho just misjudged his braking zone, and that's put him down to 5th.
Well, Laser's still able to take 3rd place. Meanwhile, Recon is your race winner, but your Sprint Cup champion unofficially will be Carlsberg. He cannot be caught mathematically.
Fantastic stuff, and I mean, Carlsberg, I think, has really shown a real tenacity, I think, in... obviously, he's done ABS for the first time here tonight, presumably. Fantastic stuff, and he's got the main championship and the sprint championship, so it couldn't go any better for him.
Absolutely, and he cannot be caught because Josh only scored 18 points, and that deficit between himself and Carlsberg, which I believe would be, help me out here, James, 12 points. So he now goes and falls 41 points behind, and Recon there cutting that gap down by 5 points. He's now 49 points behind, meaning that he cannot be caught. Recon wins the race from pole position, but it is Kalsper who is your new Sprint Cup champion here in TTL F1. Laser finishing in 3rd place with Josh in 4th, Coutinho in 5th with Chubbs in 6th. Sean in 7th, Mays in 8th, Vaporeon rounding off the finishes there, and the last finishers in the points there because Mashiro got disqualified for not making a stop. I mean, maybe the tiredness there played a factor in that.
It might have done. I think Mashiro, obviously, him being a dual TTL F1 League 2 champion, I think he was under the impression, to be honest, we had the Classic Series, as I say, on Tuesday. I think he was under the impression that those tyres could get to the end. They don't in multiplayer car racing. He's got to think mini-league, and I definitely think the tiredness played a factor in that.
Oh,
and I'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Oh, he's leaving me on my own. That's never a good sign. Anyway, yes, we do have race 2 coming up for you very, very shortly. But just to confirm to you that Recon did pick up the fast lap in that one, but that still brings his deficit down to 45 points behind. So Kalsper cannot be caught. He is your Sprint Cup champion here as we shortly head in towards the one-shot qualifying. Don't forget as well, this may be the last time I'm in the commentary box here on F1 2019, but I'll be joining you for F1 2020 for a brand new season of TTML, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. We've got a whole packed schedule here on TTTV, starting in late July. We have TTML Division 1 with myself and James. That'll be with full graphics here with the lovely Mr. Tom in the background. On Wednesday, we have TTML F2, not to be confused with the other divisions. F2 cars only. That's going to be with Unsafe Release and Aiden Carter in the commentary box here. On Thursday, we have Division 2 and Division 3 of TTML. Division 2 will have the graphics. You can join James and Paco on Thursday there. Division 3 will be covered solely by Aiden Carter at the same time. On Friday, we have Division 4, which will have the graphics. You can join Graham and Joseph Corboy there in the commentary box for Division 4, with Division 5 happening at the same time with James Head and Paco Suarez on Friday night. Don't forget as well, CRC, we have the LMP3 cars with the Mr. James in the commentary box, 8 p.m. on UK time. And then on Sunday, we will have a CRC IndyCar for you as well. So hopefully you'll be able to tune in there. So the only time TTTV isn't live are Monday nights. That's the only night off that we get. That's it. But I wouldn't have it any other way. In terms of the calendar then, you'll be able to watch TTML. The first race of Division 1 will be on the 28th of July. That is the first round. We will be racing at Australia, so don't forget to tune in for that one. Meanwhile, don't forget to follow the new league on Twitter at TTML_F1. Oh, I think that's all the advert out of the way. If James give me a signal if you're back just yet. No, you're going to have to listen to me for just a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a brand new season. We've got 11 rounds. We've got the first round at Australia. Rounds 2 and 3 will be Vietnam and the Netherlands. Monaco will be the 4th round, and that is going to be a night race. That is confirmed. Canada, Austria, Hungary, Italy, Russia, United States and Brazil all on the race calendar. The 11 race calendar. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it, and I can't wait to bring that new season to you. Meanwhile then, we're on board with Coutinho, who's one to watch for next season as he crosses the line, making his way now down towards turn 1, and that lovely black, yellow and gold liveried car. Is that yellow? I'm sure he'll convince me whatever one it is. Kalsper is your champ confirmed here in the Sprint Cup as he now makes his way going through Eau Rouge and then up Radion here. Really no drivers spinning out at the top of the hill, which caught me out because normally you get some sort of incident at the top of the hill there. Kalsper now making his way all the way down towards Les Combes, down the Kemmel Straight. Obviously he's purple through Sector 1. We can see that just on the times on the left-hand side. Recon now holding on to the lead just for now. It's always difficult to see what's going to happen here as Chubbs again retires from the session. Has he invalidated his lap time, or has he said, do you know what, I don't fancy finishing this lap? Recon currently fastest right now. Laser second. Josh in third with Kalsper in 4th place. Mashiro in 5th. Hopefully he'll remember to do a stop this time around. Vaporeon in 6th. May 7th at the moment. Coutinho's made a mistake out there. He's currently in 8th place and Sean is in 9th at the moment. We'll ride on board with the Dutchman. You can see that it's not a lot in it for this top 3 right now. Recon, Josh and Kalsper pretty much matching each other for pace right now as they make their way all the way through Stavolo now and entering into the 3rd sector of the longest track on the calendar in terms of race distance and in terms pretty much of race time. Obviously Singapore beats it on race time. Here we go then, Recon making his way now through those left-handers, now going through Blanchimont there, full throttle through, and heading his way now towards the bus stop chicane, slowing the car down for one of the slowest corners on the track. Then this second part of the bus stop chicane, reduce the wheel spin if you can. Can the Dutchman grab another pole position here at the circuit Spa-Francorchamps? Yes, he can, and he goes 2/10 quicker than he did in the first one-shot qualifying session. The Dutchman's on pole once again tonight. And we'll bring you the qualifying results then for race number 2 here of round 4. It is Recon on pole position. Josh is in second place. Kalsper third. Mashiro fourth on the medium tyres. Vaporian in fifth with Mays in sixth. Laser, Chubbs, Coutinho and Sean all invalidating their lap time. So they will be starting in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th respectively. Mashiro there on the medium tyres. Hopefully he'll have got the memo that he needs to pit this time around. Hopefully he can get some points on the board. So I'm hoping that we're going to have one last great race for me on F1 2019. Don't forget as well, we've got the evaluation races coming up on the 21st, 23rd and 24th of July. You'll be able to see the results of those very shortly afterwards. But all at the Italian Grand Prix, it's going to be short qualifying and a 50% race. Split into different evaluation sectors, and we'll be able to see and come up with a league system there for all 5 divisions. I cannot wait. It is going to be massive. So make sure you are following the league on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter if you really want to. It's at KS McGinley. Good luck spelling that one. You can also follow James when he gets back. He's at B52head. That's Bravo 52 head. I wonder if the lovely Mr. James is back just yet. No, he's not. That's unfortunate. He might miss the start of this race. Well, it is the longest formation lap on the calendar. So he's got about 2 minutes. So we'll leave the 2 minutes for now. Kalsper is already confirmed as the Sprint Cup champion, so we are racing here just for fun now and maybe to decide the rest of the positions behind. In fact, when we look at it here, Josh and Recon still have a battle to go on with as Recon head to the infield there. I mean, it's going to be even longer if the drivers all decide to do donuts here in the last race of the Sprint Cup. Luckily, that doesn't affect tyre wear too much heading through in towards the race. If it did, then they'll specifically not do the donuts. But Josh wants to get on with it. So too, I believe, does Mashiro. No, he doesn't. He wants to do more donuts at turn 1. Hopefully he'll rejoin the back of the pack soon. In fact, he's teleported straight to the grid there. But there is Recon and Kalsper going up the hill there. There you can see going in formation. I think Recon congratulating Kalsper there as they make their way down the Kemmel Straight, and both of them driving together there. And Kalsper, well, he is your champion of the Sprint Cup. That's already been confirmed. He cannot be caught mathematically, no matter where he finishes. And if he finishes, he simply cannot be caught. So they're just taking a leisurely drive around here, going through Les Combes. And hopefully, eventually, they'll make their way back towards the grid. Maybe they can sense that James isn't in the commentary box yet, and they're taking the lap as slowly as possible. But that's what they're doing right now. Josh has he's got no intention of slowing down. He wants to get this race underway as soon as he possibly can, as he now makes his way on towards Stavelot. But it should be a good one here as they now make their way in towards that third sector for the final time for me on F1 2019. It'll be my final commentary venture on this game before we head to a new game cycle. Don't worry, I'm not hanging up the headset just yet. I'm still here for a long, long time. Well, Josh here has had no intention of slowing down. He's got no intention of just taking this easy at all. He's ready to get going and will now line up on the grid there, I believe, in second place. So again, he's got the racing line in theory. We've seen before that outside line can be very effective, especially because it is on that racing line. But Josh here making his way on towards the grid slot there. Kalsper and Recon still driving in formation. Mashiro has made his way back to the grid. Vaporian is in 5th place with Mays in 6th. Laser lining up on the grid in 7th place. He's starting on the medium side, as you can see there. Chubbs is in 8th place. He's starting on the softs. Coutinho in 9th place. He's on the medium tyres. And Sean making his way back towards the grid then in 10th place as he has a last-minute warm-up of the tyres, at least his AI does, as he now forms onto the grid. So we're just waiting on one more driver. I'm trying to work out who it could be as we quickly flick our way through. It is Recon. That's the last driver we're waiting for then. And Kalsper running side by side pretty much. All the drivers are waiting for you, lads. Let's get this underway. The last race of F1 2019, at least for me, as we see Recon take his place at the front of the pack then. Well, we've got 11 laps here at the Belgian Grand Prix. One race to go in the Sprint Cup here at Belgium, and it is 5 red lights. And we're underway. What are the starts like? It's a great start from Recon. Good start from Josh as well. And Vaporian gets a mountain of oversteer as he makes his way off the line here. Josh going round the outside in towards T1 as they now make their way down the field. And Vaporian getting another snap of oversteer heading on the exit of turn 1. We now make our way now down towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time in race number 2. They made it way through. At least the top 3 have. Let's see what else. Oh, that's a car running very wide. That's Kalsper running wide on the exit of Radion there. We've got Josh, Recon and Kalsper battling away. We're almost 3 wide here down the Kemmel Straight. In fact, we've got a 3 wide battle for the lead of the race as well. Recon trying to hold the inside line. Josh going around the outside. There's contact between the 2 of them, and Recon finds himself a little bit spun around, but he manages to recover. Kalsper had to react to that, and he did well to react to that as well. Meanwhile, it's all going on behind them as well. Mashiro running wide through Brussels allows Laser to take the inside line. He gets a move up. Coutinho as well in 8th place, didn't have a great qualifying. He starts down the order. He's got to try and recover as much time as he possibly can, as Mashiro here actually just gets out of it. Maybe he's wanting to have a race of his own. There's no damage I can see from the Japanese driver, but let's see how that pans out at the end of it. Kalsper in 3rd place right now. It is Josh who's leading though from Recon and Kalsper, as Chubbs is in 4th. Mays there in 5th place with Chubbs, Laser in 6th. It's Coutinho 7th, Vaporian in 8th, Sean in 9th, and Mashiro, who backed out early through Puon there, is rounding off the top 10. But all 10 drivers so far have made it through the first 2 sectors at least.
Which is fantastic, and Josh obviously leading the way, again getting a great move around the outside of the source through turn 1. Turn 1 must be his favourite place of any track, never mind here at Spa. Recon in 2nd. Kalsper's just dropping off the pace slightly, but we've got to be honest, Chubbs up from 8th position to 4th in the space of a lap, 4 positions gained. He's on the back of Kalsper as well. He is looking mightily impressive so far. Lasers down the inside of Mays in the meantime for 5th, just in behind on through the source, but Mays stays in positions. The Academy man ahead of his former Academy man, Laser, now on the main team.
Absolutely, and Mays was saying, can he at least keep his front wing this race? Well, he's kept it for 1 lap at least for now. But let's see, Laser's right on the back of Mays here, looking for the slipstream, looking for a move. He'll have to go around the outside, heading in towards Lacombe. You saw up ahead there, Chubbs trying a move there. Had to back out of that one, the 2 of them. Oh, Mays is around then. Well, at least he's kept his front wing, but was there contact between the 2 of them?
Yeah. There was definitely. Laser just turned into him, I think. He just didn't give him enough room going through the source. You've got to respect each other if you're going side by side through there. And it's just a simple miscommunication, I think, on Laser's end.
Yeah, and then Mays, I don't think he activated reverse gear because then he drove into the wall and then lost his front wing. He kept it on through that instant there. That is unfortunate for him, but he'll be falling down the order there at least. But let's see if he stays around in this race. I think he's going to let Mashiro through, which he does, going through Brussels there, as he'll limp his way back towards the pit lane. Josh, though, leading the way ahead of Recon. Kalsper 3rd with Chubbs in 4th and Laser rounding out the top 5. A tasty battle developing for P6.
Tasty battle developing, definitely for P6. Coutinho is struggling on the set of mediums. Vapron obviously looking to try and get the move done. Could he go side by side, possibly through Blanchemont? He's going to cut to the inside, and in fact, Coutinho, I think, has played an absolute blinder there because he's gone in behind him, but I think he realises that the DRS will come down the Kemmel Straight, so Coutinho is playing the longer game compared to Vapron, and I mean Vapron actually nearly loses it through the bus stop chicane, but Josh leads, Recon 2nd, Kalsper a 2nd off in 3rd position. The good job we wrapped up the championship.
Absolutely. DRS is now online and Recon is right on the back of Josh then, heading down the hill through Eau Rouge and then up Radion. And you can see there, nice and close together. Kalsper will also have some DRS down the Kemmel Straight to keep himself within this battle. But you can see Recon closing and closing. Look at that closing speed with some ERS and some DRS. All the RS is here being deployed as they make their way in towards Lacombe. And Mace, unfortunately, has retired from the session then. Not really a surprise, considering that incident earlier on at Lacombe a lap ago. But hopefully that won't be the last we see of him, at least in TTML next season. Recon.
Oh, Josh! Oh, goodness me, Josh has just had a right moment coming out of X. Goodness me, he lost the quarter, he lost the back end completely through and has lost pretty much now, possibly, the chance to win this race. And now Kalsper's on the back of him. Major mistake by Josh.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got to be careful from Kalsper here. We know how quick of a driver he is. He is the reigning and last TTL F1 champion here, of season number 19. But now making our way in through those right-handers then as we make our way through Stavalo. Josh has fallen away from Recon here. He's got to be careful because now he could be out of DRS range by the time they get to the start-finish line. That will not help him whatsoever. Chubbs, meanwhile, fancies his chances. He's right behind Kalsper.
Yeah, Chubbs has looked extraordinarily quick, I think, in the second race. Kalsper just looking a little bit under the cosh slightly with Josh, and in fact, Recon and Kalsper coming both into the pit. So Recon and Kalsper are the first to blink. Onto a set of mediums they will go, so it's very similar to what I think Josh did last race around. But Josh leads, now Chubbs is in second, later in third. Everyone else still continuing on, but Recon and Kalsper into the pit. How much is an undercut around here? It's normally about 1 second to 2 seconds on per lap. So if these guys don't pit until lap 6, for example, at the end of lap 5 onto lap 6, these guys, Recon and Kalsper, will gain massively.
Absolutely, we'll have to wait and see how that all develops. Meanwhile, then, we have got a battle here for 4th place between Vapourian and Coutinho. Coutinho with the DRS then moves to the right-hand side. Does he have the racing line going into the corner? Yes, he does. Moves up to P4 ahead of Vapourian there. But again, Vapourian, the rear end of that car is not looking too happy whatsoever. Doesn't look very stable there. It's very skittish going into these mid-speed corners. He's got to be careful there. Coutinho picking up a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, Coutinho picking up a 3-second time penalty. It is going to bring Vapron back into play. But I've got to be honest, I think these two are beginning to close in on Laser. It's 1.2 seconds the gap as Vapron just catches the inside curve there to pull on slightly. Laser looks like he's comfortable in third, but not comfortable-ish, to be honest. I think Coutinho now beginning to close that gap. TMC driver, now of course going to be in TTML, he is beginning to close up, and you can see the pace difference between them both. Laser, obviously a new member of TTG main team. I think I've said that about 4 times now, so you can have a shot for every time I've said that. But Coutinho is closing in, and he's now within DRS range, so maybe down the Kemmel Straight, he might be right on top of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do take part in the James Head drinking game, we do not accept responsibility for any injuries caused from any incidents. Josh and Chubbs into the pits then from the lead of the race, then from the soft tyres. Laser then, that means he gets to go into the lead. Apologies, I've just clicked on Maze there, who's no longer in the race, so you would have seen a very brief blue screen there. I do apologise about that one. But it does mean Laser now takes the lead. Sean in second place. Josh is in third at the moment, but let's see Recon make his way through in towards the hairpin. This is actually going to be pretty close on pit exit here between the 4 of them. Recon makes his way through. There is Josh then, who slots in nicely ahead of Kalsper, but Kalsper's going to have the better run here, going through Eau Rouge and Radion. Surely not a move through there. No, he decides not to, but now he has the slipstream. Now he has the DRS. Josh will have the same on Recon ahead of him. Let's see how this develops then. Heading down towards Lake Com, you can see there, that is Recon defending the inside of James. Has called it almost 3 wide there, almost ending in absolute tears there. Josh, though, gets ahead of the Dutchman of Recon, and Kalsper couldn't quite take advantage there. He stays in 5th place.
Fair play to him for backing out that one, though, because that could have been very dangerous for the 3 of them to go side by side into the corner. I mean, I called it just the corner before. Luckily, they didn't. Thank goodness for that. Josh Recon, though, 3rd and 4th. It gives a little bit of an advantage, actually, to Chubbs. He's just dropped off a little bit in the pit stops, but he can now gain because these 3 will intend to battle. The most interesting thing out of that pit stop was Coutinho came into the pit from a set of mediums onto a set of softs. Both Coutinho and Vapron picked up 5-second time penalties for speeding into the pit lane, and that's what does that mean? Well, it's going to be added on to the time at the end of the race, and Vapron, as soon as I say that, has just picked up another 3-second time penalty. I should stop speaking now.
Yeah, Curse the commentator is pretty strong when James is around. It is very noticeable. Meanwhile, Laser still leads the way then. He's currently on the medium tyres. Sean is in 2nd place here, but they are both yet to stop. Josh is in 3rd place with Recon 4th, Kalsper 5th with Chubbs in 6th. As I say that, Sean has now entered the pit lane, and assuming now he'll go onto a set of soft tyres. He had to pit very early on in race number 1 to put on a set of hard tyres after damage received in that race. But hopefully this time he's on a strategy that he wants to be on, and will now put on a set of soft tyres to get him to the end of the race. Josh defending hard then, going in towards turn 1. You saw him abruptly change line and then switch back to the racing line. He is allowed to do that. That is allowed in the rule book as they now make their way through Eau Rouge and up Radion then. Let's have a look on board with Recon then. He is just over half a second behind of Josh. And if these 2, or these 3 I should say, keep battling, then Laser's lead at the top is just going to ever increase. Kalsper maybe looking for a move up the inside of Recon in towards the first part of Lake Com, but no such move exists. DRS. Vaporeon getting a pass on Mashiro there, but I think with Mashiro there, he's rather let him through. With that DRS, I mean, it's easy to do because that amount of overspeed you have, especially with DRS and ERS, is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, and I think it comes with the boundaries of the track, to be honest. Obviously, we've got a long kilometre straight, pretty much, from the Kemmel Straight down towards Lacombe. We've got that long straight, and it really comes into play. Mashiro is still on the back of Vaporeon, and he's looking a lot more livelier, I think, in this second race compared to the first race. Hopefully the tiredness might have weared off slightly, but just saying that, he's beginning to lose a little bit of time to Vaporeon. Sean is in 9th as well, but at this stage, Josh beginning to reel in on Laser. 9.5 seconds the gap to the lead. Laser still to pit. Josh will be out in front by about 0.8 of a second, I think. Out in front. Recon second, Calsper in third. To be honest, they're all just spreading themselves out quite evenly, and it's going to make it quite hard, I think, for these guys to possibly get an overtake. But if there's anybody, I think, that can get it done, I think it's Calsper. He looked like he had the speed to try and get the move done on Recon, and I mean, coming through bus stop, he's nearly on the back of him.
I thought Mashiro there was going to try and move on the inside in towards the bus stop chicane, but he ran wide going through Blanchemont, picked up a 3-second time penalty, and that lost him momentum. Josh setting the fastest lap of the race so far, as now Calsper looks down the field here. Down the hill we go, through Eau Rouge and Radion, right on the back of the Dutchman there, but you can see that understeer he got there going through, managed to hold on to it. Now Josh is a second ahead. Recon doesn't have that DRS anymore, and Calsper with the DRS says, thank you very much, Recon, I'll take that away from you, and now moves up to P2, heading in towards Lacombe.
Exactly what I said about half a lap ago. Calsper, if there's anybody that can overtake, it is Calsper with the overspeed. Mashiro, in the meantime, is on the back of Vaporeon. Oh, and actually, Vaporeon and Laser are having a right set too as well, coming through Lacombe. Laser just about hangs on. Vaporeon trying to get the inside line there through Lacombe, but not trying to get the move done there. Laser fresh out the pit lane, remember, he's in 6th. He will try and close in on Coginio, and I can already see that gap beginning to physically pull out of the track. It's nearly a second already.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when Vaporeon is on the medium tyres now to the end of this race. Lap 7 in this race. It is Josh, your race leader. Calsper in second. Recon running very wide there on the exit of campus and just about keeping that car in check. But Recon struggling now with understeer going through these corners. He's got to be careful. Could be an issue with tyre temperatures there. If they get too warm and they get too hot, they do reduce in performance, and around a track like Belgium, it's very difficult to keep tyre temperatures in check once they go out of that optimum range.
It is, and I think these guys have got to be careful on their time management as well. Normally in a 50% race, when we commentate traditionally around here in a 50% race, we're always talking about the tyre management. It's not the case really in a 25% race. But these guys have still got to try and get that little bit of contribution. I've just seen Vaporeon, by the way, bus stop completely, picking up a 5-second time penalty. Yes, that was caught on my end, Vaporeon. You're not getting away with that one. Mashiro trying to get the move down under the source. But that costly mistake from Vaporeon now puts Mashiro possibly at a very good opportunity to try and come back. Not sure if the leaders, and actually Mashiro, oh my god, I thought he was going to go around the outside through a Rouge. Oh, and Vaporeon's into the wall.
Vaporeon out then. Looks like he lost it at the top of the hill. And Mashiro here.
And Mashiro's?
I'm not
sure. No, he hasn't lost it at all.
No, he hasn't. He's parking up next to him, apparently. I'm not sure what that's about. But anyway, Vaporeon is out of the race. He lost it going over the hill there. And he is now out of this race. We're down to 8 runners. And if Mashiro decides to carry on, we might be down to 7. Josh then still leading the way. Calsper second, Recon in third. Chubbs only 2 seconds back. He could easily take advantage if something goes wrong there. Coginio in 5th on the fresh, Laser, I should say, in 6th on the fresh tyres. He'll be looking to try and side his way through the field if he possibly can. We've got Sean in 7th and Mashiro there running in 8th place. He has stopped this time around, so he will not be black flagged on the final lap of the race.
Which is good, and I mean, he's 27 seconds down, but he could still go for that fastest lap of the race and try and nick an extra point from somebody on the track. Coginio, by the way, is getting closer to Chubbs. 1.4 seconds. That gap was 2 seconds the last time I saw, just a couple of corners ago. So Coginio now beginning to come into play. Josh has dropped off the pace a little bit as well. I think he's been saving up his ERS. He has. So that's why Calsper is now only 6/10 away coming across the line. And Recon is pretty much exactly the same compared to Calsper behind. About 6/10 of a second off Calsper. If there's anybody that can do it for the race leader, will be Calsper. And I think it could be the time the time is now, I think, to get the overtake done.
Well, we'll have to see then going down the Kemmel Straight. We have 3 laps to go then as Josh makes his way over the hill and down the Kemmel Straight. He won't have DRS. The 2 drivers behind him will. Kalsper reeling the black and white car in. He moves to the left-hand side, does Kalsper, at least on the track. Then round the outside on the first part of the inside line for the second part of Lecom. Now he has to leave the door open going through the third part. He gets onto the curb, a little bit onto the gravel as well. Josh is still there on the inside, and Kalsper eventually has to concede that one. Josh managing to hold on there, and Recon's got front row seats. But as well, he might be thinking, actually, I'll let these 2 battle for now. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, who knows what can happen? And I think who knows what can happen. Mashiro clearly thinks it's wet conditions out on the track. He's going on to a wet set of compounded tyres. But just to come back onto the battle for the lead, Recon, that was fantastic action between Josh and Kalsper. Recon in the prime spot, but they've got to be careful. They don't want to fight too much. That gap to Chubbs is 4.2 seconds. But Coutinho is the one to watch out for, and he could be the one to play into this come the final 2 laps of the race. These guys have just got to be careful. They don't want to battle too much.
No, absolutely. He's got to try and find that move past us, Coutinho, but doesn't want to battle the car ahead of Chubbs too much either. He's caught in between a rock and a hard place, I think we call that one. But he's going to lose time no matter what happens, that's for sure. Getting past the car will lose you time. Josh leading the way then from Kalsper and Recon. That's your top 3 so far. These are your top 3 in the championship as well. So that is great to see as Josh starts the penultimate lap of the race here and of my time on F1 2019. Josh leading, Kalsper second, Recon in third, Chubbs in fourth there, but under heavy pressure from Coutinho, making his way now through La Source hairpin. But let's tune in to the top 3 right now, going through Eau Rouge and up Radion. Now onto the Kemmel Straight. Once again, Kalsper will have a chance down that Kemmel Straight. You see Josh there, defends to the right-hand side, then slowly drifts over to the left-hand side. Smart thinking from Josh. Kalsper's now got the inside line, though, heading in towards Lecom. Oh, they touch again, heading through the second part. Now going through the third part of Lecom. You can see Recon there trying to take advantage. He's now trying to go up the inside of Josh in towards Brussels here. Can he take the lead from that position? Up the inside he goes. Has he done it, the Dutchman? Yes, he has. He took full advantage of Kalsper and Josh scrapping away and takes 2 positions in the space of 1 sector. Incredible stuff from the Dutchman.
One of the most sensational moves and sensational pieces of driving, I think. He got an awesome run out of the exit of Lecom, down in towards Brussels, and he just sided it down the inside, thinking, I'm coming through, and he's through into the lead of the race. Absolute brilliant. That is why Recon's a former champion here in TTL.
Absolutely, he showed his class there, that for definite. Coutinho, meanwhile, off the stream there, whilst we were focusing on that top 3, has now moved into 4th place. He's passed Chubbs, now 3 seconds away from that battle for the lead of the race. It's going to be tough here, but it is a long lap here at Spa. 7 kilometres to cover per lap, but we're almost onto the final lap now. 2.9 seconds between himself and Josh, but I tell you what, these top 3 are going to be battling hammer and tongue, tooth and nail on this final lap of the TTL F1 Sprint Cup here, and you can see the top 6 all in one picture. This is incredibly close for the final lap of this race. Coutinho picks up the fast lap of the race, 45.3 I should say. That's going to be tough to beat, especially under these circumstances. Recon leading the way, but Kalsper in 2nd place. He'll want to end this one with a win then. Over the crest they go of Radion as they make their way now onto the Kemmel Straight. Josh has a great run here on Kalsper. Will he get a great run on Recon? He's got nowhere to put the car. Kalsper finds his way through. Now Josh wants to take the racing line. They're 3 wide on the entrance of Lecom. Josh takes the inside line for the second part, but you see Kalsper's got the inside for the third part. Josh goes the long way round. Oh, Kalsper loses that back end and Recon almost follows him through. Josh takes the race lead away from Kalsper, and Recon, who was leading that one at the beginning of the Kemmel Straight, ended it now back in 3rd.
Josh has probably just pulled off an even better move than Recon, to be honest. He just absolutely threaded the eye of the needle down in towards Lecom, got the move done, down, bang, 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 3 shots to the heart. Yeah, Josh has taken the lead of the race. Simple as that.
Well, Josh now takes the lead with only a handful of corners to go. In fact, in 1 corner's time, we'll be onto the final sector here of the TTL F1 Sprint Cup. Josh leads the way from Kalsper, and then Recon following all the way through. Coutinho has actually closed that gap by a second on this lap alone. That's how much they've been battling. It's not over yet, though. We've still got that bus stop chicane to go. Josh leading the way. Kalsper in second. Recon here. Will he try for a move on Kalsper heading towards the bus stop chicane? He's going to do it, you know. He's going to launch it down the inside of Josh as well. Locking up big time. Loses the front wing. In fact, that's Josh who's lost the front wing there. But Josh, 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. They come together at the line going all the way through. And eventually someone crosses the line. It's going to be Recon who takes the race win. Chubbs second. Kalsper then in third with Laser fourth. Josh crossed the line in fifth. Sean sixth. And, Coutinho in sixth. Sean crosses that line in seventh. That was total, utter carnage at the end there. And hopefully we get less of that next season. But we've still got Mashiro on the wet weather tyres. Well, I mean, we've got 2.5 minutes. What should we talk about, James?
Mashiro cutting across the chicane just in wild fashion. Yeah, Josh picked up a 10-second time penalty as a result of that contact. He had to cut the chicane as a result, so that's why he's down all the way in fifth position. That's why you see Chubbs in second, for example, and Kalsper down to third. Josh really picking up that 10-second time penalty. Recon tried to go for both of them. He should have went for one of them. I think he should have got Kalsper, definitely. He shouldn't have tried to go then for Josh, and it all just got a little bit out of hand right at the end. Not the greatest finale to the season, but hey-ho, we move on to the next game, the new game next week.
Yeah, not exactly the cleanest note we leave on. It's quite a sour one, but at the end of the day, we have a new champion here. Kalsper wins the TTL F1 Sprint Cup here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Well, it is Recon who takes the race win. I'm sure that'll be investigated after this race, and if Josh had just kept his foot in, I reckon that 10-second time penalty would have just been taken away from him.
Yeah, I think so as well. And Josh, obviously, 10-second time penalty. I'm going to see in the race director where this would have put him. I think it might have put him actually in either second or indeed in the win. So Josh really missing out on that. Mashiro is thankfully coming around Blanchimont now, and it looks like he is going to, well, that's the newest extension of track limits that I think I've ever seen, and he's into the wall. Yeah.
But not retired yet. He'll eventually get there.
Not retired. He'll eventually get there. Maybe backwards he'll eventually get there. And there we go. He's across the line. I think he got disqualified even.
Well, there we go then. It is the end of 2019 Formula 1. Kalsper is your winner of the TTL F1 Sprint Cup. But, well, it has been a fantastic game cycle. It really has. But yeah, I have to say, what an extreme ending. But what a time we've had on F1 2019. It's the end of TTL F1, but it's only the beginning of TTML. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it.
As am I. I think it's going to be a fantastic season in TTML. If the first race is anything to go by, and if the battling as well on that final 2 laps of the race is anything to go by, tune in next season to TTML because it is going to be fantastic. And I mean, you'll get to see me 3 times as well, possibly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, Recon takes the win here with Chubbs in second, Kalsper in third, Laser fourth, with Josh finishing down in fifth, Coutinho in sixth, with Short in seventh, Mashiro eighth, Vaporian in ninth, and Mays didn't finish this race here. And those are your official, unofficial results, and actually Vaporian didn't finish the race either. I believe Coutinho there with a 45.3 had the fastest lap of the race, so he will get the bonus point there. But that is pretty much it now for F1 2019, for TTL F1. And we have, of course, one more race on F1 2019. I believe, James, you'll be covering that one.
It's the 5-lapper night, yeah. There might be 8 races to commentate on tomorrow. 8 races.
40 laps of action. 40 laps.
40 laps of action, I know.
Well,
I'll be in the grave by the end of tomorrow night.
Well, let's hope you're not, James, because we do need you next season.
I definitely won't be.
Yeah, you're in quite a lot of events next season. But of course, this brings it to the end of TTL F1. So that's pretty much the end of an era. An era of TTL F1 has come to an end. I've been a part of the series since season number 7. That was, 2.5 years ago now. November, I believe it was November 2017, because it was F1 2017 back then. Quite incredible, quite astonishing. But where one thing ends, all good things must come to an end. But now we get to welcome in a brand new era of TTML. Make sure you are following the new league on Twitter at TTML F1. With a brand new season, you can join myself and James for Division 1 on Tuesday nights from the 28th of July. So you've got about 3 weeks to wait, maybe 4 weeks, but I promise you it will absolutely fly by. James and I will get our hands on the game, we'll understand how the cars work, maybe, and also we'll bring you the coverage of the 2 new tracks as well, Vietnam and the Netherlands Grand Prix, rounds 2 and 3 back to back. Then we've got the Monaco Grand Prix, which is going to be a night race. We have had it confirmed, so that is going to be one to watch. The cars will simply look gorgeous underneath those floodlights, but that will do it, really. If you want to follow the commentary team, you can follow James on Twitter at B52Head. You can follow myself on Twitter as well at KS McGinley. But James, it's been a fantastic game cycle. It's been a pleasure sharing the commentary box with you. I can't wait for next season.
I can't wait for next season, and as I say, it's been a pleasure commentating alongside the legend. That is Kieran McGinley. Yes, I'll say it. Legend and GOAT. There you go.
Goat. Thanks. no, honestly, thank you, James. It's a bit of an overstatement. You're hyping me up. It's not that good. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us on this TTL F1 journey. We'll hopefully see you next time. Oh, James has remembered something.
I've just remembered something, yeah. The first time, actually, I think that you're going to be seeing action on F1 2020 on this channel is going to be for the evaluation races, because I believe they're going to be getting streamed. I'm certainly going to be streaming at least a couple of them.
Well, hopefully we'll bring you more details on that. And again, the Twitter page is where you ought to be going for all that latest information. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us on F1 2019. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you all on the next game.